Love, love, love till I feel the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello. Welcome to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Ruth Roussety. She's a retired teacher who now volunteers with God's work. Welcome back, Ruth, because this is your second interview, and thanks for coming again.
Thanks.
We're going to be slightly different with this interview, but we still would like to know about your faith in God. Have you had an experience of God's love in your life?
I think everything that happens in my life it's God dealing with me, with everything. Because I have lost my husband very young. He was only 47. And all these years I've been coping by myself. There are days that are difficult, but I always think of what is good. When I know someone and someone might do something wrong to me, I don't look at that wrong thing. I remember the good things that the person did. For me, I was just blessed to have this good husband. And he's the only man I've known in my whole life.
Wow.
And I've lost him and I've lost my son. And for me to be able to cope with my situation, I think it's God there with me. When my son died, I spent the night at a friend's place. And then because the doctor said this lady just lost her husband, and now 10 months after I lost my son.
I'm so sorry.
And then the doctor said to this lady, just look after this woman. So I spent the night at her house, and the next morning she took me home. My whole yard was full of people. The teachers and parents from the school where I taught before, and the people in the parish, and the relatives that I have. And I said, God, you've taken my son, but you are loving me through all these people.
Wow, that's so beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
So, but I always think of this, and people have always been very compassionate, very kind to me.
Yes.
Yes, I am blessed in one way to have had such good friends and good people.
That's beautiful. What has developed this attitude of this half full? A lot of people, or even myself through my life, I used to always see the half empty, but it sounds like you always look at the half full cup. You know how there's a half full glass and the half empty glass. What has this developed, this attitude you have? You think of the positive, you think of the gratitude. What do you think has helped you to do that?
So I suppose this is how I look at people, and I look at my own life. As I said to you before, if you want to avoid enemies, you have to learn how to love and accept other people. I do this the best I can, but as I told you before, in the house where I lived when I grew up, there was always kindness, always sharing. We have people who live very far, and they will come to our house walking bare feet. And then they'll come to us, can you allow me to wash my feet?
Wow.
Because I'm going to see the doctor or whatever. It depends in what part of the island they lived, but they will come and stop there to clean themselves. And my mother would always give this person a drink, something to eat or whatever.
Wow.
If we are eating and these people are come, and my mother will share what we have, and my stepfather will say, we might not have enough left for you. And my mom would say, if I don't give it to them, I won't be able to enjoy mine.
Oh,
so there was.
beautiful.
I grew up in showing kindness to people, and I have not stopped. I have not forgotten anything.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I grew up with that same attitude and that same way of looking at others.
So your mum also had a very trusting and generous heart.
Yes, yes. That's why I said I was lucky to grow up in this family.
Yes. So how about your mother? Were these people you knew very well that you just opened your door to wash their feet?
Some of them were relatives, some of them were friends, some of them were strangers, and they stopped there.
Wow.
And then if we had people coming, like cleaning the garden or doing some work at our house, and my stepfather and my mother would be the same. When this work is finished, the people are paid, but they will always give them a cup of rice or a bottle of oil or whatever. It was always like a charity thing from our house. And when I came to Australia as well, when we got here, we were new, but a lot of friends were here before us. And in the weekends, our house was like a shop. We have all the friends coming, and my husband was always happy to have them. It was a pleasure having those cousins or those friends coming over, and our
Wow.
weekend was always busy, just sharing with friends.
Oh, wow.
And
So
I thought it was a
meals.
beautiful thing. Yes.
Meals and acts
Yes.
of service
And just a friendship as well.
and also when people worked for you, not only did you pay them, but you actually gave them extra like food
Exactly,
and things.
yes.
That's wonderful.
We were not rich people. I'm not saying that we were rich people. We were just having a house to live and food to eat. But we always look at others who have less than us and share what we had.
Yes, I think to
My
do
parents were very, very giving, very charitable people.
that. And
Yes.
sounds like you learn a lot about trusting God and trusting that God would
Yes.
provide, you know, because many people are worried about giving because they think that who's going to look after them.
Exactly. But the thing I've noticed, all my siblings behave like this. I think what we've learned when we were little, we use it in our life all the time.
That's wonderful.
Yes, and I like to see them do it as well, the one who are younger than me. As I said, I only have siblings left. All the ones from my father's, they have all died. But I'm the only one left, and I don't know if I'll say I'm blessed or if scary to be the only one left. But I get on very well with my half
good.
siblings as well.
That's beautiful. And what a great legacy that your mother and your stepfather left you,
Yes.
you know, of the giving and the generosity and the
Yes.
trust.
As I said, we were not wealthy people, but we always shared what we had.
What do you think of the young people today? You heard that the millennials tend to are encouraged by our society to look out for number one. How do you feel about them?
I suppose people behave the way they've been brought up. If you were brought up in a family who were kind, caring, you will behave the same way to others. But if you were with people who are egocentric or perhaps greedy, you might have that same. Perhaps you will grow up being changed a bit, but that will be the way you've been brought up. You might use that in your life as well.
Yes.
So I suppose if you are, what's the word I should use? If you want to correct yourself, you can change. But some people, they don't think. They just behave the way they've been brought up.
Yes. Thank you for that. We'll go for a break now. You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us and we'll be back after the break.
Go till I feel the breath of the Spirit flowing in me. Blow, go till I feel the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello. Welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Ruth Roussety. She's a retired teacher who volunteers in teaching and ministry in the church. Welcome back, Ruth.
Thank you.
You do quite a lot of ministry, first to children and also in the church. And I was wondering, with children at schools, how do you deal with a child that gets bullied?
So my encouragement with children like this, I will say, if children are behaving like this to you, and if the child react or act the same, and I said that doesn't make you a better person. But with these people who are acting badly, I will say, if by treating other people like this, you are hurting them, do you want them to do the same to you? And some of them will just turn around and go. Some of them will just stop and think. And I think this is how you will teach them. If they don't want other people to do it to them, why do they do it to others? So this is not a good thing. The other day I saw a child came out with a tin that contained books because they were going out to read in the corridor. And the child with the tin will grab, because that was making noise, and he was enjoying that noise, pulling this tin. But there were other people working in the same corridor with other children, but that was disturbing. So I went to them and I said, the children we are working with can't hear us because of the noise you are making. Could you stop this, please? And I said, look at you, all of you have beautiful face and you are lovely looking children. I said, if someone comes to talk to you, they will not say, look at your beautiful face. They will say, what a naughty boy. That naughty things stop people from seeing the beauty. I said, God has made you beautiful. You should get a beautiful person to go with it. So when I finished this, I took the child, I put the child back to the room, and I came back with another child. And then that child who was pulling the tin was making noise again, was arguing or whatever. And I heard a child say, have you already forgotten what Ruth said? And I said, oh, thank you, God, because at least one is using what I said. So if they do wrong things, I will get them to think about themselves, what God has given them, and they should appreciate that instead of making fun or attack other people.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it's people forget the consequences, and it's great that you help them to be aware.
I won't show anger to them or whatever for their behavior. I will get them to try to think, if they behave better, what sort of the person will that be for them, instead of attacking people, calling people names, or disturbing other people, stop other people from learning. So by them, some of them will act kindly, but others, of course, not all of them will think the same. But I was so touched and pleased to hear that other one said, have you already forgotten what Ruth taught us?
Oh, that's great.
And I thought that was beautiful.
And I suppose it would be different with different age groups of how you would behave.
Yes.
So what age group was that?
These ones were 8 and 9.
So the younger ones, I suppose you would remove them from that situation, wouldn't they? The younger ones, because they wouldn't have sort of the rationale to see it.
No, I think I will keep them together, because by doing it together, each other will learn. They will all learn from each other. If these ones were the naughty ones, and then I'm talking to the one who was kind and they were bullying him, but at the same time, they can all learn from each other. They can use what they're hearing. If I am talking to you, and then another person next to you is listening, that person will take what is good from what we're doing or what we're discussing.
Oh, that's good. And how do you deal with people with disabilities in schools? Do you and for people that bully people with disabilities or who discriminate?
I think it will be the same thing. I will ask that person to look at himself. If God has given you the gift of being healthy and fit, you should use this. He has not given you that to keep. That doesn't give you the right to sort of belittle other people. You should be grateful to what God has given you. If God has given me good health, and I see someone who is not, a person who is paralyzed, or a person who has a, what do you call it, a difference in the face or in the behavior, in the physique, I should be happy, thank God for how I am, instead of making fun of other people. If God has blessed me with this, that doesn't mean that He made that other person for me to tease, but actually have given that person for me to learn from.
Yes, no, that's wonderful.
Yes. This is what I think we forget very often. We see someone who is paralyzed, someone who has a fault in the body. Instead of thanking for God for the good things in us, we tend to mock or belittle or make fun of these people. And I think this is very wrong. We have to remember, if we are good, if we are fit, it's a gift which we should share, we should use and thank God for. Don't use that to make fun of others.
Yes, I think from studying, like I used to study a little bit of psychology, and I heard that sometimes people who've got low self-image, they like to attack those who are disabled or small, because they are hiding their own smallness and their own lack of love.
Yes.
And so they kind of hate, because they actually want to be perfect, and when they see imperfection, they hate imperfection. But I suppose, like you said, people with disabilities are a gift.
Yeah,
and
it's a lesson for us.
Yes.
And you should think about, I think situations like this is a learning time. If you look at that, or if we see people behaving badly towards people like this, we should draw their attention to it. Why do you do that? Is it because you are better physically that you're doing this to this person, instead of thanking God for the way you are, and pray for this person who needs some help, or help this person in some ways?
Yeah, so on that note, we'll go for a break. You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us and we'll be back after the break.
Blow till I hear the breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Blow, blow till I hear the breath of the Spirit blowing in me.
Hello. Welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Ruth Roussety. She's a retired teacher, and she volunteers in teaching and the RCIA. Welcome back, Ruth. It's great to have you. With your faith in God, would you be able to say something about where is God when it hurts? Because sometimes people in life today think, oh, God is love, then why does tragedy occur?
But God is with us at all times. I don't think God leaves us. And when something bad happens in our life, we always say, God is not with me, but He's there. And because we don't want to, we can't expect everything to be perfect in our life. Sometimes we had good times, sometimes we have bad times. That doesn't mean that God is not with us, but I think God is teaching us when something bad happens, how do we behave with that? And how we accept things when it's good, and how can't we accept things when something is bad? We had to work through these things. And because very often we think we want everything that is good. When we ask God, when we pray to God, we keep asking, give me this, do that for me. But God is giving us what we might not see what we are asking, because He's giving us what we need, and we want what, and we concentrate on what we want. God is there all the time. He's always giving us. But because we concentrate on one thing, we don't look around to see what are the other good things He's giving us.
Yes, it's true. I think initially I started to believe in God because my brother and two sisters were disabled, and I thought if they are healed, then I'll love God, you know. But like you said, it's acceptance, and I know that through my brother and two sisters with their disability, it's helped me have a stronger faith and grow through it.
But perhaps God is expecting from you as well. If I have given you everything good and your siblings don't have the same thing, how do you treat them? How do you behave towards them? So I think then you can show God love. Don't accept, I am very happy I am there, and look at these ones. But you should give as much love to these ones as you can to show God that you are proud of the way He made you. But for me as well, as I said, we very, very often concentrate on what we want. But God is to give us what we need, and we're not seeing it. And we think He's not giving us anything, but He is giving us all the time.
That's fantastic, because we can focus always on what we don't have, and when we keep wanting and wanting, we can't see the prayer being answered about the other things.
There are a lot of beautiful things around us, but because we want what we want, we're not seeing it. So we have to learn how to look at things like that.
And it's not easy. It's prayers and faith. Sometimes I want to be positive, but I'm negative, and I say, God, help me to be positive.
Yes, of course. We are human beings, so of course we're not perfect to sort of do good things at all times. But if we are conscious of our behavior or how we're thinking, it might help us to become better people.
Yes. And you also said that God is love. What has God done that shows His love to us?
There's so many beautiful things in the world. For me, I look at nature and I say, gosh, God, you there. You know, autumn comes and all the leaves will fall, and you'll think, you look at those trees, you say they're dead. But then spring comes and there they are again. And you forget that bit that was dead, and you see the new things in front of you. But we don't realize that God is all around us, and His love is, He loves us through a lot of things, through nature. For me, nature is a great thing, because, you know, my children might come home, or the children in the school might come home. They don't have to say that I'm sick, I'm angry. You just look at their face. You can tell if that child is not well today, if that child is sick or if that child is hungry, because they're through science, through nature, you see all these things. And around the world, it's the same thing. For me, I sit down in my back veranda and I look at the sun, and I look at the trees, look at the flowers, and I said, God, you there.
That's beautiful.
Yes. He shows us his love through all these things, but as I said, we have to learn how to look and how to think.
Yeah, I particularly like the death of Jesus on the cross as that it's
The
a free
greatest
gift.
love.
Yeah,
Yes.
like to die for, and also that I don't have to earn God's love because of what Jesus being the ransom for my sins. Because sometimes when we feel guilty or feel bad, we can't wash away that feeling. But when we accept Jesus' death on the cross, it kind of washes us and cleanses us.
And if you think of the love of God, seeing this, he has given us his son, and getting him to die so unkindly and with such suffering. And we have to learn, if God is showing us this, to show us how much he loves us. And that is a great sense of love for his people. But again, that was the human part of Jesus, but God showed us that way. And then when he rose again, and this is his divine person. So God is showing us both his human side and his divine part of life as well. And we can learn from this as well. If Jesus suffered so much, why can't we accept when a little thing happens to us that we have to suffer from?
Yes.
We just think of him. He went through so much, not only being physically hurt, but mentally, by the way people treated him and the things they did to him. And God could have stopped him. But he went through that. God let him go through all that to show us his love for us.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone who, who's seen this show who may want to make that step closer towards God or being part of a church, what would they do?
To become a Christian, you mean, or to know God?
Yes. Would they contact a church, a local church, and do a RCIA program? Is that how they...
There are some people I know who go to the parish or to the priest or someone who works in the parish to ask questions or to say what they want, and they'll be guided to what sort of program they can do, or what they could go to the Catholic school, or they could go to the priest and have a chat. The priest could guide them to where there are a lot of people in our parish who could help them.
Yes.
But the choice has to be theirs, and they come. Sometimes people might want to do something, but they don't know where to go.
Yeah.
But for example, if you met a person like this, you can guide that person where to go.
Yes. Well, I wish you all the best and fantastic work you're doing. And I wish you all the best, and goodbye, and God bless you. You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay tuned next week. Goodbye, and God bless you.